Hey, welcome back. In the last video that I just released, we were talking about some screw-on mandrels and how to prep the ends so that they don't do damage to the pieces if you accidentally touch the screw head while you're working on pieces. We also talked about snap-on discs. Today I want to do a little bit deeper dive into snap-on discs and how you can modify them so you can do some real close work without damaging stones and things like that. So here's the snap-on discs that we're talking about. I use a number of them. They're different grits and things. Now, when you first put a snap-on disc on the mandrel, sometimes the hole in the snap-on disc, the sanding disc, is a little off-center. So when you go to spin it, it's got a wobble to it. So if you're like working on, say here's a stone, or a stone, it's actually an elk tooth. But say I want to work on the very top of the bezel and I want to get real close, but I don't want that wobble to get into my stone, because if it does, as it's wobbling, it'll actually touch the stone and scratch it, or in this case, a tooth. So what I do, and there's a couple of ways I do this, I'll true these things before I use them. So once I put them on the mandrel, the first thing I do is I true it to make sure that there's no wobble in the edge. Now there's a couple of ways that I do that. So I do a lot of mold cutting, so I've always got surgical blades around. When I cut molds, I like to use these curved ones, but sometimes I use the straight ones as well. I think the curved one is a number 12 blade, is what they call it, and the straight one is a number 11 blade. But I mean, you can search and look for them at your, whoever you buy your jewelry tools from, and if you're a mold cutter, you've got these things around. But if not, it's nice to have a pack or two of them around. I use them for all kinds of things around here, but this is one of the cases where I would use it. So let me show you quickly. So what I'll do is I'll take this, and as I'm spinning it, now this is the back side, so there's no grit on it. So as I'm spinning it, I want to spin, and I want to make sure that whichever way it's rotating is going into the tip of the blade. So if this is rotating counterclockwise, I want to put this on the right hand side so that it's leading into the cutting edge. So what I'll do is, as I'm spinning it, I'm going to touch this to the back side of it, and then you can see it trimmed off just a little bit of the edge of that. So now if this thing is rotating, it's perfectly true. And what I'll also do is maybe run it up against my my bench pin. You can see there's a couple of little scars on there. So what I'll do is I'll run it up against there, and just to true it up as well. And that's the other way that I true them, is I'll just take this up against the side of my wooden bench pin and spin it. And when I did that, you could see a little bit of smoke trailing off there. What it's doing is it's burning the paper into a trued circle. So now if you look at this thing as I'm spinning it, it's perfectly true. So now if I'm coming in and working up against the stone, I'm confident that it's not going to be wobbly and it's not going to get into my stone, so that if I'm real careful and just touching the bezel or whatever you're working on, I know that there's no wobble in there that's going to accidentally scratch whatever I don't want scratched. So those work well. And as you work with these long enough, you can see this leading edge here. Some of the sanding paper, or the grit, has worn off the edge, because when I work on these, I'm usually not working on the whole surface, but I'm just kind of working on the very edge. So over time, this gets smooth and it doesn't cut like I want it to. So again, you can take that and put it up against your bench pin and just kind of, see if I can get that going there. This one is kind of soft, so it's not going to want to do that. But so on that one, what I would do is again take a little surgical blade, and then you can do that on the back side as well. And as it's spinning, just cut that little end off. You can see it cut off the area there that is dull, and now it's got a nice crisp edge. And then again, you can come in there and true that up. A little bit of smoke there from the burning paper. Now this thing has got a nice trued edge, so that I'm sure that when I'm working on something, it's not going to have any wobble in it. So those are a couple of the ways that I go about working with these sanding discs and prolonging the life of them. Because sometimes if you're working with a sanding disc and that edge just doesn't cut like it used to, you can just take that sharp edge, cut that off, cut those the little dull part off, and now you've got a nice crisp edge to work with again. So this one here, if you look at the back side of it, it's also a little dull. So again, I'm just going to take this, and when you do it, you want to work at a fairly high rate RPM on your Fordham. So again, come in there, and you can just cut those things off. So now the dull part is cut off, and it's got a nice crisp trued edge to work with. So those are some of the tricks that I use when I'm working with the snap-on sanding discs. They and again, I use these things every single day. I've got all different kinds of grits with them, and they are just invaluable when you're working, especially working with bezels and you're working close to stones and you don't want to touch the stone. You can get in there and just make sure that you stabilize everything. I've mentioned before, my bench pin is the center of my universe. So whenever I'm working on something, my hands are always stabilized on the bench pin, so that if it takes the wobble out of it. So if I, like I said, if I'm sitting there working on a bezel, my hands are stabilized on the bench pin, so that everything is nice and firm, so that I don't have a bunch of trying to hold it out like this. You have a tendency of wobbling a little bit. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully you guys work with some of those snap-on sanding discs. They work in so many different ways. Again, I probably got a dozen of them or more loaded up here with different size. Some of them are large, some of them are small, but depending on what I'm working on, they work great. So again, thanks for stopping in. Hopefully you get a little bit of value out of that, and don't forget, on Fridays 8 a.m. in the morning Mountain Standard Time, we do our live Q&A here on the YouTube channel. So if you're not doing anything, set a reminder so that you can pop in, and we're usually here for 15-20 minutes, sometimes longer, and just kind of wrap what's going on during the week, and just check in with one another, just to see how we're doing. Like-minded jewelers gathering together just to throw out questions and support one another. So again, thanks a lot, and we're going to do a lot more of the stuff like that on our Patreon channel. So if you get a chance, go over to Patreon/Jewelry Monk. We got some fun stuff going on over there. So again, thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you next time. This is Doug with the Jewelry Monk Studio.